So when do you end up meeting Clark Kent?
I want to say that was like maybe 99 or 2000. 99. My man Titta introduced me to Clark Kent. He had familiarities with him. Titta was a major piece in a major figure franchise. Shout out to Gilly the Kid and the whole major figure family, right? Ab Lava, my 1/4 of the Rehab Gang is also up the major figure. You know what I'm saying? They had me and him had got put together through my cousin, rest in peace, my cousin Ern. Rest in peace, cuz. And heard the music and basically was like, I think like everybody was always saying I reminded them of Biggie. And as soon as he met me, he said the same thing, like, you got this small thing with you, like, yeah, I mean. And it used to always bother me because I always wanted to be, I understood the importance of being original in hip hop. Like, I grew up when everybody was different and everybody was appreciated for being dope as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never critique.
You used to get clowned if you were copying off of somebody.
That's a fact. It was called biting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so so Tut, you know what I mean? He saw something in me, we linked up, and he took me to see Clark. And Clark and I basically fell in love with each other. I loved his beats, he loved my artistry. He saw that I was polished. I didn't need much. Like, when I came around, I had a book of raps, like a bag full of raps. I still got pictures in that studio with certain artists that I was working with, like DeShera Renee. She was up there working with Clark. Khadijah, like Khadijah, she's super heavy. I mean, you might know Khadijah from Ain't No Nigga Like the One I Got. She the one going back and forth on that hook. But she got so much. That's Khadijah, forgive me, babe. You know what I mean? I'm in my mode and I'm talking, but like, she heavy. Khadijah heavy. And I was like just working with them, and he just played beats for me, man. He would give me beat CDs. I would take them home and I would come back, like, listen to this. And he was just like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, this kid got it type shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's how he was moving. Like, that's how he was really trying to put it together. You know what I mean? And it just worked, man. It was like, we ain't had no trouble getting busy. Like, that shit was like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my album was considered a classic among a lot of people, man. Like, you know what I mean? Jay heard the album, Jay-Z heard the album, Dame heard the album, Lear Cohen and Kevin Liles heard the album, Stout heard the album. My initial record deal was with Bad Boy.
Right. Before we get into that, though, right? I want to talk about Clark specifically. He played such a pivotal role in not just your career, but in your life, because he told you he didn't want to fuck around with a drug dealer, right? So that got you out of the streets?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Yes, it did, especially at that time. And the road to getting the album, he talked me off that. Yeah, he did. No doubt. Him and my mom.
And he said, did he give that same speech to Jay and Biggie?
That's what he told me. Like, you know what I mean? He ain't fucking with nobody. Like, he can't be wasting his time with people who ain't believing in themselves. I think he did. He told me, he said something to that effect to them guys, yup.
What was the first impression when you met him?
Serious. Like, Clark was hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knew what the fuck he was talking about when he spoke. He didn't give it to you like he did not. You know how some people know what they saying, but they give it to you with consideration that you might feel different, even though they know they right?
Right.
It wasn't Clark. If he seen something in an artist and you didn't, you were an idiot. And you will soon see. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not bullshitting you, man. He stood on what his word is. He said what he meant, and he meant what he said. And to have him in your corner was a great thing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't sugarcoat anything.
Nah. Nope. Nope. And he kept my nose in music, like knowing that I was coming up there, all them niggas, you know what I'm saying? I'm strapped down. I got a Mac 10 in my book bag and all this cool shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause that quad shit the studio was right down the street, you know what I mean? And, you know, Big dying and all of that. I'm in New York. I'm fucking with Clark. Like, nobody never asked me what was going through my head at them times, but the niggas around me knew. I was putting this Mac 10 in my rap bag and going up there and we gonna get home. You know what I mean? That's how I felt about it. And, you know, knowing that he talked me off all that shit and then kept me away from it in New York City because I was surrounded. Clark, all he knew was gangsters. Them niggas was in that studio quite often. You know what I mean? Like, I seen Hatian Jack in there talking to Clark.
Oh,
I
shit.
seen Jimmy Henchman come through there. 50 Cent sat in one of my sessions. This shit was moving all around me. So if he wouldn't have kept me so focused and I felt like I could have, like, you know, I'm from Philly and I want to make a connect, or it could have went any way. You understand what I'm saying? And the fact that it didn't, that was him. That was him because, you know, I went from taking 2 hours too long to get to the Unique Studios because I'm coming from Maryland hustling. And once that stopped, I was like, this shit real. Like, it's rap for real now. 2 hours to get there. I'm coming home with the beats. I'm focusing. Now I'm making more songs, everything turned up when I stopped. I ain't gonna fake it because I wasn't as focused when I was hustling at all. Yeah, I mean, I knew I could rap. I knew I could make a song. So it was like, all right, I'll sit around for a day and fuck with this. All right, I'm gone. All right, I gotta go up there and record. I'm gonna record these. So he couldn't tell by my pace that I was hustling. He just knew I was coming 2 hours late. What the fuck are you doing? I had to tell him. I'm hustling. I'm in Maryland. Like, you know what I mean? It's 4 hours from there. I ain't really signed up for this to be fucking with no drug dealer. Like, you know what I mean? I'm paying for this shit out of my pocket right now. You know what I mean? Like, shit damn near $250 an hour in here, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm putting my name out there for you. Like, I'm saying you the guy, we the guys, and you got to believe that. You know what I mean? And when I told my mom, she doubled down on it. So, you know what I mean? A little conversation with myself, like, do you believe? I said, yeah, I do. And I locked in. I would say 3 months later, 6 months later, I had a record deal.
What was your interaction like with Hatian Jack?
I ain't never talked to Jack. I said he was there.
Oh, he was there, but you just
Like,
you watching from
like I might be in the booth or like in traffic. I just seen, like, you know, in hindsight, I'm seeing these guys' pictures. Back then, they wasn't in magazines and on no videos. We wasn't in that era.
Right.
This 20 years later, I'm seeing these interviews and these faces like, oh shit, damn. Or one of my niggas will call me like, you don't remember? Oh, he was there. I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, in hindsight.
Same thing with Jimmy Henchman? You never talked to him or anything?
Nah,
okay.
I ain't talked to nobody. I was up there with Clark.
Well, what about 50? You said he sat in on one of your studio sessions.
When I came out the booth, Clark was like 50, saying it's 50-50, this Clark. He head nodded, I head nodded. He was sitting in, like, he was already chilling, like, you know, just in one of the chairs. And I ain't know, you know what I mean? Like, at that point, I think we was just both on Who Kid mixtapes. That might not have even happened yet. I don't know. It's somewhere in there. But
this is before the shady aftermath, obviously, right?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, because I hadn't even signed an Interscope yet, and that happened after I signed the Interscope.
Oh, okay. So
you know what I mean?
This had to be like
I got signed in 01. I got signed in 01. I think Fifth shit dropped in 2003.
2003.
Yeah, I mean, so you know what I mean? Yeah, but yeah, like, yeah, I was focused, man. I was working on music, bro. Like,
right.
my New York friends or the guys that I was talking to were the other guys in there working on music. You know what I mean? My man Joel Marquis, the Dawson brothers, Tommy and Ray. Rest in peace, Nevada. You know what I mean? Jerry Walker. I know I'm leaving somebody out. Please don't charge it to my heart, man. Charge it to my mind, and it's good kush. You know, man. You know what I mean? Like my engineer, who is now one of my DJs. Like, I mean, when we hit the road, my man DJ Music Rocker. My engineer Customato. You know what I mean? Like, they still around. Customato just mixed Kwame new shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I went to the funeral, I reconnected with all these guys, and we had serious conversations about doing a Clark Kent album in his honor called the Clark Kent Masterclass, Unique Studio Room.
Wow.
9/9/2002. You know what I mean? And everybody in on it. Like, all those guys was there. So that's who I was functioning with. Like, I went back to East New York with my nigga Ray and them, you know what I mean? And ate food with at his mom crib. And, you know what I mean? We made moves. I had girls that lived out there and all that cool shit. Like, I moved around, but I just wasn't involved in the street. Like, it was music and chicks.
Right. So the interaction with 50 was real brief. Like, you guys didn't talk or anything. It was just like a head nod.
It was very brief. It was exactly that. I came out the booth to hear something, to check something. And he was like saying it's 50-50 this saying. And I heard, now, what's up? He heard that, what's up? I'm back in the booth.
So were you surprised, like, later on, though? Like, when you saw him blow up, though? You was like, dang, I remember him from that time?
No. Beanie Siegel had already showed me that shit was real.
Oh, got you. Okay.
I ain't need no more example. A nigga that I was in the bathroom with, going back and forth with for hours, got a record deal and was shutting hip-hop down. When Beans came out, a lot of shit stopped. P-H-I-L-L, what? That shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Beans was so raw, New York treated him like he was from there.
Yeah, that's true.
You understand? That ain't that, you know what I mean? So, like, nah, I already knew it was real and that it could happen. You know what I mean? And you got to realize, it went from me thinking I was going to get a deal, taking all the meetings. Now I know my shit hot. So it was various phases while I'm recording this album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas though, like, yeah, we know we going to get this, we get that. By the time I got with the track masters and Throwing and Poking them was like, oh yeah, he one of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a joint with them called Like a Pimp. This shit was, oh my God. This shit was crazy, bro. This was like Fiesta era. They gave me that bop. You know what I mean? And then they gave me a deep joint I did called The Rain, featuring DeShera Renee. That shit was crazy. Yeah. Paranoid as I lay down to rest my eyes, knowing I ain't living life for God. I mean, I'm truly not worthy. What if he decide to let me sleep instead of letting me rise? I wrestle that at the table while I'm cutting my crack, gat on my lap, and deep thought to my dog's bark. I grab my Mac, check the perimeter, shaking my head, giving words from the minister. My testimony I'm giving, able to witness the niggas that's living. I know a lot of y'all feel like me. Greasy hands climbing uphill just like me, but it's a blessing to realize and deal with it just like me. I keep my baby girls in mind. I got to live for them. Who gonna be here for them? If I'm caught up in the rapture, stiff in front of the pastor, my mama crying crazy. I dread that, so I'm praying God save me. So like this, I'm 24 years old in New York talking like that. I mean, I was 23, 24, like, but I was giving that shit up, man. Like, my album was crazy, bro. Like, and every producer I work with knew that, especially the ones from Philly. That's why I made sure they got placements on my album, bro. CL Hot Runner, you know what I mean? Don Groove, like, they was Zucon. They was blessing me. I was getting blessed. Before I met Clark, the production I had and the dudes I was working with, I could have put the album out here. We just ain't had the system for it. Real rap. The beats was there. It wasn't no questioning LE Square and, you know, like I said, LE, Zoo, Rug, Don, TL Hot Runner, shit, my man Mac G started giving me shit. My man Riz Deluxe, like these is niggas, they all still around, and they sounds was that. Like if you go through my large collection of music and you come across an original you like, that shit more than likely was produced by the crib and was ready to go. We just didn't have a system. You know what I mean? But I came up there polished and I came up there ready to work. And once he got me out of the, you know, you ain't focused bag, what if you get locked up and then what type shit? And I just got on it. You know what I mean? It was like, yeah, this music coming out crazy. Crazy. Because the beats was, he started giving me beats. All my Philly producer beats was crazy. And they all had a vibe. Clark's vibe was motion picture. Like when I listen to his beats, it was like being in the movie and it first come on and it'd be like, like it was like, I can't explain it. The sound just, it was huge, man. You know what I mean? Like I'm listening to shit in my mind right now and I was like, damn, like some of them joints, even when I was bringing them back, the producers, I'm like, yeah, that shit heavy. Then Jazzo started giving me beats.
Wow.